few moments. In addition to hearing directly from you.
I'm sorry, I was getting robocalled and spammed by Congressman Joaquin Castro right there. My apologies. I was in the middle of an illegal FCC call from... No, I'm just kidding. He was robocalling me to tell me to show up at his town hall. Thank you for your care and concern, Mr. Castro, by sending me an automated recording. I appreciate you reaching out to me to tell me about your town hall. So, hey, we're live. I got to tell you, I am... And then Salo kind of moved his little arm out of the picture right. There it is. Okay. So when I say Salo elbow, it comes back. Salo elbow. Yeah, there it is. So we are streaming tonight from the Salo 180 studio. We moved for tonight, and we're hanging out in a different location. Salo is building his little empire of podcasting. I can't show you the rest of it because it's a work in progress. I don't even think I can show you Salo unless I pull him into the picture. Hold on. Let me. Okay, he cookied me right there. So Salo is right here. We are streaming from his personal studio, taking a little break tonight. The broadcast, we are going to freewheel it through the evening. We'll talk about the issues and things that are happening in the city and over the last couple weeks, and then spend some time also talking about what this is going to look like going into the new year. When we think about campaigning, we think about future opportunities for public office and what the broadcast will kind of morph into in the middle of January. So full disclosure, this will most likely be the last one as we're just kind of ending it the way we started it, completely making up our own play for the evening. But, we've been at this for a year plus now, and starting next month, we're going to come back in a different format as we prepare to take what we believe are the ideas for the city forward in a completely different manner. And we're going to be excited to talk about that. And yes, some of it will be campaign related as we get into discussing the ideas and issues, not just about picking, making fun, and having a good time, and what the show has routinely been, which is just pointing out the obvious, trying to get as much information as possible. We're going to shift that in the future more into, here are the ideas, right? And this is where we think the city should go. And then we're going to ask people going forward to be a part of that in a much bigger process. It's exciting. As you can tell, I'm kind of poking around at the fact that we're going to have some big announcements in January about what we're going to do politically and in our last effort to say, hey, this is what we believe the city of San Antonio should be. This is who we are. And we're willing to put all that on the line to say, these are our thoughts. What do you think? And that's coming next month. So this will be the last one. Then we'll take a couple weeks off, and then we're going to come back rebranded and brand new, focusing on the future of San Antonio in a much more engaged, idea-driven opportunity to ask and earn trust and support from our city. So we're going to get it. And the description, you can follow us. You can keep an eye out on it right there. Look, is San Antonio ready for 2021? Salo likes to put questions up there. Put it in your comments. I'll do my best to get to them and follow them right here. But we appreciate you. And for the last year and a half or so, the last year plus, we've just had a good time just talking. And sometimes we have 50 people watching. Sometimes we've done shows where we have 500 people at any one time streaming and watch. It's been all over the place. And what it's been for us is an opportunity to just say, this is what's happening in the city. Here's a bit of information to help you. It's one-sided, right? This is a podcast, so it's my opinion. We've brought different people in, everybody from elected officials, future congressmen like Tony Gonzalez, who won his seat just recently, to the Black Lives Matter leadership. You name it, we've gone across the spectrum just to try to bring different voices and ideas in. And this will culminate tonight. And nothing fancy. We're just going to spend some time being your friend, talking about issues and wrapping up and making sure you understand what's coming your way in January. And to help us get there, we've always relied on our friends and sponsors that pushed us in that direction. And we'll just mention them one more time for this year. And of course, it starts with Align Mortgage of Texas, Chris Cano, Cody Carrasquillo, and Tony Diaz. So these men put together a company that just built a fantastic space and have allowed us to use their space to put information out there, right? To be a part of the podcasting world, just saying, here's some ideas and things about our city. Align Mortgage was really key in helping us make that happen. And not too many companies in the world are able to merge faith and family with business and financial success. That's a very hard piece of information to merge into one. And somehow or another, that company's been able to pull it off. And I pray they'll be able to pull it off going forward in the future and continue to grow. And I'm sure they will. And they've been fantastic and help us and have helped us build something. I'm very thankful to this organization and these people that gave us the space and the wherewithal to keep going, really. And Chris and Tony and Cody can't be thankful enough. And I'd probably keep rambling about that one for an hour if I could, because I just love what they're doing. And thank you for the space, the friendship, and we appreciate it. We won't let you down going forward in the future. And thank you, Align Mortgage, and the entire 150-plus employees that are helping veterans own a piece of the land they help defend by purchasing a home mortgage. So thank you to those guys. We also want to thank our buddy Louis Garcia, AAA Garcia Bell Bonds. We have been picking on this guy until they upgraded this logo to this. I don't know what's up with that. I continue to not know the story with the handcuffs on the chest, but I love this upgrade he did. AAA Garcia Louis is just a great buddy, and he's always been there for me. He's reached out. He's helped buy the food we eat every week. He's just always stood with us and said, "Hey man, I support what you're doing. Your friend and brother, we appreciate you. If you ever get rung up and you're facing some innocent till proven guilty opportunity, his family and his team are going to take care of you." Louis, we thank you for always being there for us. Much appreciated. We love you, brother. And we hope to see you soon. Tyler Hall and Speedy Salt. Tyler's always take care of us. By all means, if you got a water softener, call this dude, SpeedySalt.com. He'll deliver it to you himself, and he'll take care of you. He's always been there. Everything from working the camera to going out in the field with us and knocking out. It's fantastic, man. Tyler, we love you. We appreciate you. And we're thinking about you and your family, especially your son and the two of you right now. So we appreciate you. We love you. And then Brian Pena has always been helpful for us from the realtor side of the house, too. He's got busy. I know the boys started playing some baseball recently over the last few months, so he ended up going to baseball practice more so than hanging out at the podcast. What's up with that? But we appreciate you. Brian is a realtor, as is Susan Bielicki with EXP. Both of them are in the realtor world, and we've done business together, and they're fantastic people. And I put the both of them up there because they're two different personalities, and you got to shop and find somebody that fits your world when it comes to buying a house. Susan's a military relocation specialist, and as you saw from Brian, he handles first responder loans and generally speaking anything in the city. Both of them are fantastic people. Shop, get out there, find out what's going on, and look, you purchase a home, it's the number one investment you're going to make in your life, and do it with people you trust. So those are everybody. Chris Marty from Rebate House was also one that jumped in and helped us over the years too. Chris Marty and Rebate House sponsored us early on and kept us going. Rebate House is the number one real estate realtor in the city. So they do more business than anybody, bar none. He's a fantastic man, and his wife and his family have built a huge business with Rebate House. We're very thankful for Chris for always being there and supporting us too. So that's that. All right, now check this out. We're going to hop into some issues of the day. Then we're going to wrap up as I talk about what to expect next year. We'll wrap up with that. Now, I do have, this is cool. I've got, remember last time we upgraded and we did, hold on, let me look. Oh, man, I look smart. We upgraded to a new game plan where I control the imagery in the conversation right here. So we're going to get into it right now, but we always will start with, if you want to put that one up, we're ready to go. So look, COVID-19 continues to dominate the conversation, as you saw in the news. And as I've posted on the page and in different places and spoke about this, there has been a change, obviously, in the rate of transmission in our city. The governor has stepped in as well with his orders over the last few months that are altering and changing the opening and closing of businesses in our community. San Antonio is in a surge period and a peak period. Of course, that attributed to the Thanksgiving timeframe, well, Halloween, then to Thanksgiving, and now to Christmas. And we're going to see a surge piece past New Year's into the new year for a couple of weeks. We are going to see increasing numbers in our city. Our testing is increasing as well, but as you can tell, the city of San Antonio always puts on their website. Now, you can watch at 6:13 every day Ron Nirenberg and Nelson Wolf spout these numbers, or you can get the information yourself by simply going to the cityofsanantonio.gov. It's currently in a severe risk level worsening period right now. Obviously, critical is off the charts. The new laws that have come into effect are what they have done is place us in a position where bars are fully closed. Restaurants are now down to 50% capacity. Based on Governor Abbott's order over the last few months, that's what the city of San Antonio is saying. We're going to get into some of that hypocrisy and how can the city of San Antonio continue to operate in certain ways, but average Joes, citizens, small business owners are being held to a completely different standard. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But here is some of the case rates per 100,000. And these, you can see the daily case number trends up there in the upper left-hand corner over a 14-day period. That's the key, especially over the last 7 days. When these averages are peaking and they're rising, people are monitoring this data and these statistics to turn it into the decision-making process at the city and at the state level as well. And you can continue to see the cumulative cases reported by day right there. Total cases in San Antonio are at 112,261. This is of yesterday. And total deaths at 1,510 plus 82 in the last 30 days. And you can see it by race and ethnicity over here. Hispanics continue to dominate the race and ethnicity of COVID-19 transmission at 76%. The age group, the large age group now is 18 to 40. If you remember when the pandemic started, people were worried and it was a 65, 55 plus type environment. It's now shifted to an 18 to 40-year-old. And on the right-hand side, you'll see the bulk level of the darker colors there are the highest concentrations of COVID-19 positive testing. Total active cases in the city at 12,197. Now, the city takes all this information in their own methodology and then extrapolates that into their rules. We really don't see, right, in our case, we really don't see a lot of consistency out of the city. And I think that's what's been really just frankly ticking people off for quite a long time. Not seeing the consistency in decision-making is forcing people to take a step back and say, well, why do some things apply here but they don't apply over there? And we started that early when we were shutting down churches and places of worship. Faith-based organizations were getting shut down, restaurants, and yet the city's still out doing their job, having a good old time, doing different things. And that lack of consistency is what's upsetting people. And I think from a perspective of when you watch those daily briefings from the mayor and the judge, what you don't see is anybody else with them. It's these two men doing what they think and really by themselves, almost autonomously, these two people making the decisions for the entire city, right? And there's nobody with, there's no other council members sitting with them. There's no other elected officials or represented. It's just Ron Nirenberg and Judge Wolf. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago about it has turned into more of a media-inspired daily event than any new revelations or bit of information. Like the city could just as easily advertise this information all over social media, blast it everywhere, use digital targeting and programming, and get this information about what's needed into the hands of citizens a lot better than the FaceTime that Ron Nirenberg and Nelson Wolf are getting every day, popping up at 613 to give the appearance of their leadership and guidance through a pandemic. Well, I think at this point, people have gotten more sick of it than are tuning out than are watching. Plus, if you're on TV every day and you're sitting there and look at my opinion, for the both of them, it's mainly become more about them just being on TV than it is about helping the citizens of San Antonio, because it's a fear factor that they're banking on, right? This is leadership by fear. It's not leadership by action or anything of the sort. They're reactive and they come on TV to tell you how horrible things are and what they're taking away from you, right? That is what they do, specifically right now onto small businesses. But they come on TV, they denigrate, they demagogue, they just tear it apart, and they say how horrible it is, and then they hop off television, and they'll send a text to 1 million plus people in our city, scaring the crap out of them. They'll threaten curfews. They'll allow boxing matches at the Alamo Dome. They'll allow the Alamo Bowl tonight. This lack of consistency, but the one thing that they are very consistent in is the fact that they get FaceTime every day on television, and they get to look like their leaders. Well, here's the thing. They therefore will be held accountable for the same pieces. You just can't take the positive response you got or what you believe you got and leave all the negative aside. Like if there's 150,000 jobs lost in the pandemic, that's on Ron Nirenberg. You are accountable for it since you are the sole person making the decisions. It's the same thing when you turn around and say, what does it look like from a small business loss perspective? They say that up to 40% of small businesses could be out of work, never to reopen, going into 2021 by the end of this. We could lose 40% of our small businesses. That's on the foot of City Hall. I'm sorry. You can't just take the positive out of it. You have to take the negative and the bad things that have happened on your watch as well. So that goes for Nelson and that goes for Ron, the both of them. If you're going to be the face of it, and it's all about the two of you, then you should be held accountable for it, right? And that's what the citizens are looking at. And I think, and I've talked about this before, it's got to be about some level of hope and keeping our city open and trying to understand that the path back isn't fear and lockdown. The path back is vigilance, hope, and then the strength of getting folks back to work. What recovers our city? What recovers our city, plain and simple, is people making money. That's what it is. We have often got into this argument fight in San Antonio over the last year that we have a racial issue in San Antonio. We have race-related issues in our community. And I think the mayor has led this charge as well. When we talk about, right, when we talk about how broke our city is and we're racially segregated and we are a systemically racist police department, a systemically racist community, a systemically racist that has been the words out of City Hall. And in reality, I want you to think about this because just put your mind around this for a second. That's not San Antonio, right? Ron Nirenberg and these other council members down there, they live in an alternate San Antonio. And I'm looking forward to making that argument. As we go forward in the next year, this image of what San Antonio that Ron Nirenberg and our city council members are building, I'm sorry, that's not the San Antonio I grew up in, nor is it the San Antonio I want to live in or raise my children in, right? Their San Antonio is a joke. And it's not who or what we want to be. And we're going to litigate those issues in the future. So I don't think they get who we really are. But the crux of the argument I'm trying to make is I don't think necessarily we have a race issue in our Senate. I think obviously we have race issues, and there can be people obviously in our community who use race to divide and tear apart. That occurs in every community, in every city of any size, everywhere in our nation. We understand that. I think for San Antonio, our biggest problem is we have a class issue. We don't have enough people making money. So this wage argument is what's suffering right now in our city. San Antonians, from my 48 plus years of being in this city, San Antonians want to work hard. They're people of faith, generally speaking. They want to work hard. They want to earn. They want to raise their kids. They want their own little business. They want to be left the heck alone and let us get into keeping more of our money, right? That's San Antonio. It's not this community that if you thought you turned on the television, you'd think we were Minneapolis. Or you would think we're Portland or some crazy city. That's not who we are. So I think we've lost some of that in this entire pandemic. What we've lost is the understanding that the path back is jobs, small business, and people making more money, right? And it ain't a $600 stimulus check, man. I've got we're going to do some memes later on stimulus checks because that's not the answer to our problems either. And the check's going to come and the check's going to go within 1 week. That money's going to be spent. God knows where you're going to spend it on. Hopefully it's bills and food, and people are going to get good use out of it. But $600 will not save the city residents of our community. They're not going to help them. PS5? It may get a PS5. Yeah, the $499.99. We got to add tax. But no, actually, you probably won't be able to find a PS5 anywhere in the city. That's not who or what is going to get us the heck out of this. Like, we have to be so super aggressive in hope and rebuilding and jobs and income that conversation then it gets into everything we do. And you don't feel that right now. I've lived in the city, like I said, 48 years, and I've never felt a more lack of leadership or fearful city than I do right now. And you only need to look at our own city council. They don't even work together, right? So there ain't nobody running that city down there but just the mayor. I mean, I don't see any other council member. Just in case you forgot, there are 10 other council members, 10. And in those 10, and I'm going to be bringing up some graphics here. I don't know which. I'm making sure Salo didn't hide a meme in here. What we got? Okay. I'm going to get to that in a second. But there are 10 other council members present. 10. Districts 1 through 10. I'm going to remind you, if you don't know, they're Roberto Trevino, Jadis Andrews Sullivan, Rebecca Villagrán, term limited. Dr. Adriana Rocha Garcia, she's in District 4. District 5, Shirley Gonzalez, she's term limited. Melissa Haverda in 6. Ana Sandoval in 7. Manny Pelaez in 8. John Courage in 9. Clayton Perry in 10. Those 10 people, I haven't seen them since the pandemic started. As far as I'm thinking, they're probably quarantined themselves, locked up away from City Hall, so they don't get to be a part of anything. That is a broke team. And when the team is broke, success doesn't happen. Each one of those people I mentioned represents 155,000 residents. So when you ignore one, you lose all. You lose all of those people they support. Don't ever forget that. When you're elected, you're not just one voice that gets silenced. Don't forget that, Judge Wolf and Ron Nirenberg. When you silence or ignore one of those elected official voices, and the same goes for Commissioner Tommy Calvert, the same goes for Commissioner Justin Rodriguez and Commissioner Chico Rodriguez, soon to be Commissioner Rebecca Clay Flores and Commissioner Trish DeBerry. When you ignore those, and Kevin Wolf as well right now, who's going to vacate here, when you ignore those individuals, you ignore hundreds of thousands of people. So you just can't leave them off. Because what happens is then you get crazy decisions like this because you're not drawing on what's best of each individual leader in their 10 districts. It's been a whole year, and it's like these council members were put on an island somewhere to be left to no man's land. And that's not how we're going to be successful. That is not a team. There's not a go-to set of organizations there. That unit needs to work together. Because then you see stuff like this, Riverwalk crowds. This is Bob Brevard. I don't agree much with what Bob Brevard says about, well, pretty much anything. But I saw this one come across it, and I thought to myself, Riverwalk crowds and Alamodome fans pose a super spreader threat. This is the kind of hypocrisy you get when you got single source leadership with single source of ideas. You get a mayor and a judge trying to rationalize that we can have a Alamodome open, right? We can open an Alamodome right here. This is the mayor on December 23rd. As COVID-19 cases surge, San Antonio mayor calls next 6 days crucial in Bexar County. They're crucial because they got to max out the attendance at the Alamo Bowl. That's what's crucial. Let's make sure we get max attendance at the Alamo Bowl. Never mind the fact they had that Canelo Alvarez fight and 12,000 people showed up there. Now, the mayor will come out in the city hall and they'll trot out the director of the Alamodome and say, hey, 17%, everybody's socially distanced. Everybody's in a bubble. We got that's a crock. By all accounts, at that Canelo Alvarez fight, people were drinking. They didn't have their masks on. They were taking seats wherever they wanted. So yeah, seats were blocked off with tape that was ripped off, that people were coming down from the rafters to sit in the lower levels. It was a train wreck. So you cannot sit there and say, and then by the way, those people spewed out of the Alamodome and into the city from all over. I saw them the next day at the Pearl. They were there by the hundreds, walking around, doing whatever the heck they wanted to do. So this isn't a process where we can believe that they held and managed this to the extent that no, it isn't. They got themselves in a position where they could not control it, and by all means, do not believe the judge or the mayor. Do not believe them. Those were not, and nor any leadership at the city. Those places were not socially distant. People were all over the place, all up in each other's grill, drinking alcohol. The only time, from what I heard from people in the dome, that there was good social distance is when they went to buy their beer, because they had 6-foot line. They went back into the dome and it was a free-for-all. Here's the Alamodome safety precautions for the Alamo Bowl. 17% occupancy. And they'll lean on that, right? They'll say, well, I have to shut that restaurant down to 50%, so only 8 people are allowed at that restaurant. That's all that's allowed. Never mind, the restaurant may hold 20 people and that's it. But nope, you're down to 8. Alamodome, 17%. 12,000 people. It's a huge space. We're safe. We're safe. It's a huge space. No, it doesn't work that way. You can't, right, sit there, which we know. You've already failed at the Canelo Alvarez fight. City of San Antonio, you failed. You were not able to keep that arena, the Alamodome, you were not able to keep it socially distant or safe. And people were not masked up. The pictures clearly prove, if you're out there saying, which the mayor and the director of the Alamodome and other leaders were out there saying people were masked up and safe, that is a lie. These rules are not, okay, touchless restroom, maybe so. I don't know. I don't even know what a touchless restroom is. But touchless concessions, I can see it. I guess you can walk around, sure. Maybe you can distance people at that point. But once they're in the arena, they're moving, we know it's not working. And tonight, right now, this is happening with the Alamo Bowl and be prepared, right? So that hypocrisy is, you can't have one and the other. And people will post today, well, somebody came at me today on Facebook and they said, whoa, what are you saying? That we should be controlling people's lives and the city didn't shut anything down and this is completely fair and safe. The truth is, it's not that the Alamo Bowl or the Canelo Alvarez fight, it's not that it happened. I'm not saying shut that down. What I'm saying is allow others the same courtesy you give yourself. Well, percentage-wise, not percentage-wise. If that restaurant can hold 50 people, let them hold 50 people and keep it safe. If you're going to hold your event and the city's going to make a profit, it's like even the Spurs stopped people from coming into their games the other day. The judge called the Spurs and said, hey, we got to turn that off. They turn people off. No more Spurs games for people. They're not going to show up. Spurs are going to play by themselves. You can't, city, turn around and hold small businesses, restaurants, bars. Here's what's even more stupid. We let people drink at the Alamo Dome. We let them drink during the Alvarez fight. They drank beer. Beer was available. But we don't let bars open at any capacity. You can't make this up. Bars, you shut down 100%. There is no bar in this city that's allowed to be open. But we could serve alcohol at the Canelo Alvarez fight. So therefore, the Alamo Dome is just one giant bar. Because if you're serving alcohol or beer, to me, you're a bar. Now, you may serve some side food, and if that qualifies you to break the rules, so be it. Okay, fine. But you're still serving alcohol. So, hello, hypocrites. If you can't afford that same opportunity over there, and I think that's what's really upsetting people, right? I'm going to bring that picture back up. Let's see here. And here's the Alamo Bowl fans will party with San Antonio's this New Year's Eve. Yeah, they're going to. They're going to come right out of that bowl game and walk right downtown. And as Bob Brevard said, he walked downtown and through a maze of maskless people, right? Trying to navigate. I don't know if you saw that picture I had up earlier. Let me hold on a second here. The one from Bob. The lady right here. Like this lady right here. The Santa Claus. Mrs. Claus. Like she's walking right through there and she's got no mask on, right? Like Bob Brevard is like, I'm walking through this Petri dish trying to get my way down the Alamo, down the Riverwalk. And he's like, this is insane. This is crazy. So you invite it. I'm sorry, Ron's not following all these people around with little bubbles and spray guns to make sure he sprays down everything they touch. No, man, it's not happening. Let people open their business or bar. If you're going to serve alcohol, if you're going to open your business, let them open. And then hold them accountable to the standards we set forth. And this is the argument, right? They'll turn around, and these people who are in favor of these things will turn around and they'll say, oh, Greg, you just want people to get sick. You just want to create super spreaders. Well, first of all, we don't know. There's no statistical data in San Antonio that restaurants are super spreader locations. Show us the data. To date, we haven't. And if they have the data, great. But there's no statistical data that restaurants in San Antonio are super spreader locations. There just isn't. So, I mean, if it happened in New York City that way, so be it. But in our city, let's deal with our information for what we have and make our choices based on us. That's what's beautiful. Let's make our decisions for San Antonio based on San Antonio, not what's happening in New York City or what occurred over in Portland or El Paso or other cities that are on the verge of chaos. We don't need to make decisions for San Antonio based on Boston or whoever else is intriguing City Hall this week. No. And we don't care, by the way, what Austin does. City Hall's need to be like Austin is mind-boggling. Nobody cares about Austin. All right? We are San Antonio. Austin is our little brother, at best. San Antonio, yeah, we need to make decisions based on us. And if you look at it, here's some businesses that are impacted by the order, but allowed to stay up at full capacity. Religious services and some other folks. And look, the Catholic Church in San Antonio is holding back, and they're making sure that their social distancing, recreational sports, public-private schools, these organizations have handled it well. Our school systems have done a phenomenal job, both private and public, in managing student care when it comes to COVID-19. Local government operations are allowed to stay open. Of course they are. Drive-in concerts and movies are the like. So these businesses are allowed to operate. Now, some of these things were changing. This was a prior order, right? So the governor's putting out these orders as numbers change, right? Now, we saw the other day that based on the occupancy rates, Bexar County rolled back to 50%, and it is climbing. The game is on, but the settings will be different for this year's Alamo Bowl to have fewer fans, COVID-19 precautions. We don't buy it because we saw you fail already, City of San Antonio, at the Canelo Alvarez fight. Don't buy the lies on the hypocrisy. These people are failing miserably at protecting our community when it comes to the Alamo Bowl. They just are. And maybe they'll get a little more strict tonight because it got in the news and people are saying, hold on, hypocrisy. How is this working? Again, their argument is you're just going to want to destroy our city and get people sick and create all these events that, no, we don't. Nobody wants that. What we want to do is trust our citizens, our small business owners who are dying on the vine. 50% reduction is going to lose another percentage, we don't know what exactly, of our small business owner restaurants and bars. They will disappear and never return. When you talk about losing somebody like Mexican Manhattan, Luby's, some of the places we've lost or will lose, that is an abomination. That is a lack of leadership out of City Hall, that we lose legacy businesses that have provided jobs, opportunity, and wealth for decades. That is a massive breakdown in leadership when we cannot put all of that together. And then, of course, we're seeing, and we saw this from Judge Wolf mentioned the other day, and it's starting to ramp up, a COVID-19 variant was found in Colorado. Be prepared. I don't put this up there to scare you. Why I put it up there is to make sure you understand that this is a very fluid situation. Things can change, but people will use information to restrict our rights. And you can fall down on this in many ways you want. I mean, there's a lot of answers to be had, and each one of us probably has a little bit different idea of how they like to handle things. Me, I'm a keep it open and get going society, and let's make sure we're being vigilant and safe and trust our small businesses and citizens to do the best. Other leaders are going to step in and say, shut it down. Don't even give them a shot. I'm sorry. We're not even going to trust you. You've got others that don't even talk to people. They just make the choices and decisions. There's a whole gamut of different opportunities here to lead in the pandemic. But as these types of issues start to ratchet up, as vaccinations roll out not fast enough, we're going to be in a position in a period where they're going to take information and use it as a weapon or tool to restrict our freedoms and rights. Now, we don't have the freedom or right to go around infecting everybody and showing no care for our fellow citizens. That is not, again, what me or any of the people I talk to want to see or want impacted in our city. We don't want that. What we want is the freedom and trust from our government to get it done in the right way possible, and to understand that while we are losing lives and the pandemic is raging, we have to show that vigilance. We've also got a restaurant and a food service and a tourism industry and people, right? They can call them industries, and you can say, oh, the restaurants are closed at 50%. Let's talk about the people behind that order. Let's talk about the men and women who are waiting the tables. The owner who does waits the tables, rings the cash register, and their small business is them and a family member or two running their restaurant or their shop, their coffee shop, whatever it is. Let's talk about not just the statistics of shutting down, well, we shut down 432 bars today. It's the bartenders and their families and the money that's provided out of that. There are people behind these directives, and they are now forgotten, and our city leadership does not care what happens to them. You don't hear out of City Hall, let's get bars and restaurants back to work. You don't hear replacing those jobs and getting them people back to work and revitalizing our tourism industry. You don't hear that talk. What you hear is shut them down, they're super spreader locations, and let's make sure we take those people and don't let them make choices for themselves. And that's what's upsetting people, right? And we see this, and it's coming, folks. You have to be prepared that things are going to get different right here. And, of course, the city went so far as today to put out a video trying to make sure that people understood, oh, we're being safe at the Alamo Dome. We've got it. They did a video and a press conference to talk people through it. The minute you let them in the building, you're not safe. I mean, at this particular, I'm sorry, if it's not safe for a bar, it's not safe at the Alamo Bowl. It's just not. If you're serving alcohol at the Canelo Alvarez fight, it's not safe. I mean, you can't hold your standard to something different over here. It's all over the place, and people are starting to see that. Restaurant owners argue indoor dining, which is often the only option during winter, is saving lives and giving alternative options to those household gatherings. You know what? I'm going to say this. One of the safest places you can go in the city is a restaurant. And I say that because you go into a restaurant, people are socially distant, the tables are spread apart, every employee is wearing a mask. Think about this. Think about this. Ron Nirenberg, Nelson Wolff, please listen to this. They managed it. Please listen to this, YouTube. Please listen. The safest place you can be in San Antonio, aside from maybe by yourself in your home, just you, the safest place you can be is a restaurant. I mean, if they're socially distant and practicing the rules and wearing the masks and acting appropriately, that's a caveat, following the rules, the restaurant is a very safe place to be. Is it as safe as your own home by yourself? No, it's not. Is it safe? Do I feel safe going to any restaurant in this city at any time of the day? Yes. Now, if I go into a tiny one and there's 50 people jammed into a 10-5, yeah, obviously there's going to be some concern if somebody's violating or breaking the rules. But this, I will tell you, restaurant owners are more than willing to be a part of the rules, help develop and design them. But the safest place you can be, one of the safest places you can be is a restaurant. I don't go into any restaurant in this city and not see excellent care and concern for its patrons. One of the safest places in our city, the restaurant. Think about that. So, man, we're hauling here, and I didn't even look at the comments. Did you see anything? Ojos Locos. Elaine put Ojos Locos. You ever seen Ojos Locos?
No, what is that?
It's like a Hooters.
Okay.
Ojos Locos. But yeah. I kind of like that. Let me go back in the comments here. Hold on a second. Man, I gotta say.
Oh, yeah, that's on 410.
No, I don't see any troll comments. Where are the trolls? Gabrielle and Greg, we can't continue screwing with small businesses, bars, and restaurants. Gabrielle, you are absolutely right. I'm getting so tired of the hypocrisy. No more than 10 in your home. Hey, man, they tried. They tried to shut down Christmas. They couldn't get it done. Hoyt says, yes, exactly. Gabrielle, of course, I got that comment. Make Ron take 4 vacations. No more a super spreader than marching downtown or boxing. Yeah, who remembers back in the day when we had the marches?
Which marches?
Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, all the marches and the protests downtown. That seems like a thing of yesterday, but those super spreader events those were completely allowed.
I still carry my brick,
You still carry your
so the virus won't get close.
Austin is the stepchild from Lisa Chisholm. COVID for profit. The Crane Familia. Lisa Waters, you're right. He's bringing it up because they're changing it again, and it affects small businesses. Lee Thomason. Establishment exploits crisis always. That is a great comment. Stephen Ayala right here, the boxing man. It was just about the money for the biggest wins in town. The peasants just being led. Stephen!
That's awesome.
Love you.
Bro, asymptomatic spread is a myth. There's a report that just came out.
Asymptomatic spread is a myth. Yeah. All right, we're going to have to look into that one. That one you know what? We need to bring a doctor on here, and we need to have these conversations. I heard Ron Nirenberg say that they have 60-plus events on the books in 2021 with a lot of money on the line for them. That is what it's all about, the money. Renee, you are absolutely right. I'm making sure I'm going through these comments because I tell people to comment and then I don't look at it. Tomorrow, the Ed Nirenberg cronies will announce a 10 p.m. curfew through Sunday night. Ooh. Does Gus know something we don't know? Nika Cleaver, running in District 2, been a guest on the show. I lost my business. Yes, she has. Had to completely revamp, and all anyone in the city level would say was, I'm sorry. Stay strong. 10 years of working towards a goal only to be shut down. Yep. All right, what else we got in here? Okay, Ojos Locos from Elaine, Old Highway 90. All right, great comments. Bring on Dr. Joe Biden. Dr. Joe Biden. Where's the flu this year? You know what? All the social distancing, I think, is helping the flu season. Let's keep our fingers crossed about that. I mean, there could be a positive to the social distancing, and that's that the flu season isn't getting involved. So, lots happening, and we keep coming back around to the fact that I'm going to bring up some more of our comments and more of our little stories here, and we're going to get into a couple other things here on the president and some other updates that we read about. It's a challenging time for everybody, and I'm not saying that if I was mayor, I'd get it right myself. Who knows, right? Like, I have to have a plan, and you have to put the plan out there, and you have to execute. But the basics, I think, of what are missing in our city, if I was to wrap it up, teamwork, hope, hard work, jobs, focus.
Would you bring a meeting of restaurant owners?
Yeah, I mean, I would have a. You'd have to. I mean, restaurant owners should be helping drive this policy.
Wow.
Salo just asked, would you have a meeting of restaurant owners? Well, of course. I mean, I think we have to have the restaurant industry has to be a part of the answer, because they're going to look. I don't know of any. I know a ton of restaurant owners and a ton of restaurants. Obviously, I don't know of one of them that's not doing the best they can to survive and thrive. Survive and thrive. They want to do the best they can to survive the pandemic, make enough money to keep their families safe, and then be prepared to thrive when everything opens back up again. And plus, we had this debate when we did paid sick leave at City Council a couple years ago. And the big debate was that small business owners were profit centers, and all these owners were making a crap ton of money. And in making all that money, they weren't taking care of their employees, and they needed paid sick leave. And that debate raged on, and paid sick leave was passed in the city, then challenged in the courts. But I always made this argument then, and I want to make it now. Small business owners, restaurant owners, bar owners, 90% plus, and I don't have anything other than just kind of my own personal gut feeling towards it and what I've encountered and seen, right? So it's clearly anecdotal. I believe that these men and women who own these organizations, these small businesses, they want their employees to work and make money, and they want to pay them well, and they want them to be happy. I'll give you an example. There's a man, Jason Dady. He's a great restaurateur here in San Antonio, just world-renowned. Guy's been on Iron Chef, I think. I mean, this guy's fantastic. And during the pandemic, he lost a lot of employees he had to put off work, and he was feeding them. He was putting together food drives for them. He was doing all he could, and I talked to him a couple of times. I was buying food from him right and left. And Dady said, hey, man, I got to help these people keep going, even if it's eggs and avocados and food and breakfast and food. These business and restaurant owners care about their employees. Do not forget that. They want them back to work, making a few extra bucks and feeding their families. This isn't an open it back up so I, as a business owner, can make a crap ton of money and buy a new car and live in a 1,000 square foot bigger house. That is not what's happening. That's the perception maybe of people at City Hall, but for the community itself, it's not what's happening, man. They're in it to survive and bring their employees back to work, get families making money. The answer to our problems as a city, and I will close with this, is people making more money and keeping as much of it in their hands and not the government's as possible. All right, what's next here? Let's go to some quick shots before we wrap up the show. All right, here we go. We'll go. Donald Trump. Put me back up right there. So these are some fun ones, man. We know that I think the president has, he's got 20 days or so, 22 days left.
Says you.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's lost this one. So the president got overrode the other day on his veto. The House overrode his veto. He was trying to push for $2,000 stimulus checks over the $600. He jumped in and said no. And then he started pushing to try to get $2,000. He got overrode on this defense bill right here. And the defense bill also didn't just have that, just the defense authorization. It also had different things are in these bills right now, like accountability for internet postings and internet communication. The defense bill is in there. The stimulus check payments are a part of the legislation flowing through Congress right now. And all of this has kind of been mired up in a muck. The Senate is pending now a vote on $2,000 in a stimulus check. The House of Representatives passed it overwhelmingly, and then it turned over to the Senate. And today Mitch McConnell said, no, we're going to take some time and slow that down and think about it. So they haven't exactly jumped on it yet. And we are waiting to see what's going to happen. Mitch McConnell is a master of the Senate and the Senate procedure. So we're going to see our Republican, and this is the thing Republicans need to be careful about. They're pending two big races, senatorial races in Georgia. People want relief. $600 was a joke all over the internet about stimulus check money. Last time people got $1,200, this time it's $600, and we're putting hundreds of millions into other places across the planet. I think it's ridiculous. I think we put the money in the pockets of our citizens first. I'm sorry. That's my belief. It's crazy. The money needs to go to citizens. If it goes anywhere at all, it comes to our citizens, right? Period. And stopping evictions and getting people back to work and and ending these food lines, funding food banks. That's things we can all get behind.
What is the reasoning behind that? What do you think is the reasoning?
People who, and there's a role. Well, a safer world is a safer America. So you want to prop up countries that are struggling, and those countries, you don't want them falling into the hands or beholden to natural enemies of the mission of our country across the planet. So you want to ensure that American reach and power and safety, it extends beyond our borders, people. I get that. It extends beyond our borders, and we must be involved in a lot of places in the planet to protect our own security. But this right now, these dollars, if you're going to go into debt, $900 billion of debt on top of the trillions we've already put ourselves into, if you're going to go into it, put the money in the hands of American citizens. And let them survive and do what they need to do. President Trump, of course, he got after Mitch McConnell. This relationship is deteriorating. A lot of people are concerned what's going to happen the next 21 days with the president and how that's going to work out as he begins his exit from the presidential stage. McConnell's facing a $2,000 question on stimulus checks, which is a political dynamite bomb. He ignored his trouble for Georgia Republicans Loeffler and Perdue running for election. If the Republicans lose those two seats, they lose the Senate, and then the Democrats have the House, the Senate, and the presidency. If you are screwing around with people's money right now, it is not a good position for Republicans to be in. That is a major vote killer in Republican races in Georgia. Be very mindful of this. Watch as this goes on and see how Mitch McConnell plays this. Both Loeffler and Perdue came out saying they would support an increase in the stimulus checks, and rightfully so. Be mindful. It's going to be a huge change. Now, all this is happening with the president, and meanwhile, President Donald J. Trump dethroned former President Barack Obama as the most admired man in 2020.
Who's that guy?
Donald Trump joins Michelle Obama at Gallup's most admired list. It's an interesting one. I thought you'd get a kick out of that one. There he is, right there. There he is. Yeah. What else we got here? Okay, well, that's it. Did we get that one with the president right there? You got that? Lashed out at the GOP after the override vote on his defense bill. We hit that one. And I think we caught that one right there. So we are wrapped up on all of our hot shots of the day. Don't forget, January 6th, the electors are going to D.C., going to certify the vote. The president is calling for an onslaught of humans into Washington, D.C. He's asked Mike Pence to step in. There's a few Republican senators, perhaps some Republican congressmen, that are looking to slow down this and see some way to throw a wrench into the electoral certification of this on January 6th. I watch politics and I follow it. Obviously, I'm a student of the game. I enjoy it. I think politics and government can do great things when focused and caring about people. There is virtually zero chance of stopping the Electoral College certification on the 6th. I mean, the Democrats hold the votes. It's not going to change. And it's whether you agree there's voter fraud or not. I believe there is voter fraud. I've witnessed it myself. You got to be very careful. There's voter fraud rampant in many corners of our own county, our own society, here in San Antonio. But overall, this election is baked. The president is not going to be successful on January 6th. And then, of course, Biden will come in and get inaugurated, and they're lashing out at each other now, and it's going to get a little worse before it gets better. And that's not to say that people don't deserve a right and a shot to have litigated this and push this. I've always said the president go as far as he wants to go with this, is legally allowed, and make the case. If you got the proof on that, let's put it out there and let's stop voter fraud and let's get things put in the right place for our citizens for every election going forward. I lost an election by 1,300 or so citizens. Go a different direction, I would have been the mayor of San Antonio. Do I sit there and think, could there have been voter fraud? Of course. I've been in close races where one or two votes going different ways in every precinct could change the face of the race. But at some point, you have exhausted every opportunity. And this thing that's coming up on the 6th, Mitch McConnell and the Senate leadership have come out and said we will not, imploring their own people to not make a case to try to throw this into a vote on these 4 or 5 individual states. It's not going to happen. I mean, as much as you want Donald Trump to be president, it's not going to happen on January 6th. So we just have to get forward and start thinking about, people got to start thinking about what's happening in Georgia, whether you're a Democrat or Republican. Those 2 races are huge for either one of you. And you can start thinking about the midterms. This is an easy prediction. The Republicans will take back the House in the midterms because this almost always happens. This party shift needs to be thinking about. Republicans found themselves in an interesting space where they become more the populist party of the everyday person now. The president has a very populist message, and he's sparked an interest in different groups that nobody would have thought about. And as evidenced in Texas, he won areas that Republicans simply don't win. He lost areas that Republicans have always won. Like there's an argument to be made that the Democrats and the liberals have become more the party of the rich, while Republicans have become more the party of the working class. The president has sparked something going forward that Republicans ought not to forget. Don't forget the populist, working class, let's make more money, let's get people back to work. That mentality and message and faith and freedom, that stuff sells. People believe that stuff. They want that for our country. Don't forget that going forward, Republicans. And Democrats, there's a huge argument to be made that Democrats have become the party of the elites, right? The West Coast and East Coast liberal elites, the high big dollar folks, the Hollywood types, all that's shifted over time. And they used to be the party of the working class. It's just an interesting dynamic that the president has upended and really just thrown it into a mixed bag here. And it's open for anybody to take, or any politician to say, I need to be about the people first. And then we'll see where that goes. So that is that. We're going to hop into the memes. Before we hop into the memes, though, just to remind you, we are coming back next year different. And when I say coming back different, I mean we're going to come back geared towards ideas and focus. We're going to take a couple of weeks off. We're going to rebrand. We're going to come back with a new logo. We're going to announce some future changes to what we're going to do as a team, my family, myself, and what we're going to do to try to take this argument forward across the city of San Antonio. And this, I'll tell you, I lost the close mayoral election in 2019. And one of the things I learned, and you need to remember this goes for all of us. One of the things I learned in that loss was you can't do it on your own. And when I say you can't do it on your own, back then, I used to be the kind of guy that thought I can walk into a room and will myself to just about anything, right? And I just need to get out there and make that argument. I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. My team, we can do it. And in reality, I think what we need to see going forward, and what I plan to present to y'all next month, is a plan and an idea on how we as a city, like all of us, get together on this, and we push a message. We push a message that matches that belief, which is we can't get it done on our own. We just can't. We need as many ideas in it as possible. We need to get aggressive as it together. We need to go back to the roots of who San Antonio is, what we are, what we can be. We don't need to remake who we are. We simply need to get better at what we do. And that conversation is going to be a wonderful one going forward in January. And folks, they came after me with everything they had in 2019. They're going to do it again in 2021. And this, I'll tell you, I don't care. I'm just going to be me. My family's going to be us. The ideas are going to be everybody. My friend Saulo, his family, the people I work with at Align Mortgage, all of us, the entire machine. We just need to come to it with an open heart and say, these are our ideas. You can pick on me and fine. You can say things about me all day long. At the end of the day, I'm going to force the conversation to be the issues. And I think if we talk about the issues and we get aggressive on those things next year, we can do great things. And at the very least, we'll change the discussion and we'll push it forward so that there is more thought from different corners of our community making the decisions at City Hall. There's 10 other races running. There's a mayor's race up. We're going to get involved in these things because, frankly, we need to do better as a community and a city. And better is more ideas and different people being a part of the process. That's what we're going to bring next year, and I can't wait to make it happen. I'm anxious to show you who we are, what we think we can be. We're going to need a couple weeks to put it together, but I'm thankful for everything we've done. It'll still be blank by the broadcast. The broadcast will still be there. We'll still do it every Tuesday, but it's going to have such a wonderfully different focus. And I can't wait to tell you this is who I am. This is what I think. These are my people, my family, my tribe. This is us. Let's go. And let's just put it out there. And let's do the best we can and run with an open heart, full of faith an opportunity, believing in God and saying, this is what, you know what? It is what it is. This is it. Here. And let's do the best we can for San Antonio. Man, I'm so excited, and I can't wait for it to happen. And win, lose, or draw, you're going to get the best from me. And I can't wait to show you exactly what that looks like. So,
Follow you so we can continue the
yeah,
conversation.
follow the broadcast on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Salo's always the social media giant. I and my friends just simply forget half this stuff.
Because if you're telling, well, let's do it together, I think a lot of people want to get involved. They don't know how.
Yeah, we're going to, one of the things we need to come back with when we come back is that, right? Yeah. We need to grow the following.
Yeah, and they need to help us.
You need to help us. Yeah. Exactly. All right.
We should start with that. But yeah, let's do that.
We're going to do that. That's good. Let me put some of my memes up here. Okay. Then Salo has his memes. We also delineate between Salo's memes are far more memeish. Let's go. No memes. A large group of Karens is called a homeowners association. That is true. That's a political joke for all you council members and former council members and homeowners association people. A group of Karens is called a homeowners association. And this, of course, right here, what does the government do once it has disarmed its citizens? Whatever it wants. That's absolutely true. Be mindful of what's happening around here. On this day in 1845, Texas allowed the United States to join it. You got to love Texas, man. Texas, I traveled to France a couple years back, my wife and I, as an anniversary present for our 10th year of marriage. And we were sitting there, and the Parisian waiter comes over and says, hey, man, hey, sir, where are you from? He said it much more cooler than that. Yeah. But I said, I'm from Texas. And he goes, he told my wife, and he goes, what's funny is that anybody, when we say, where are you from, they'll say, the United States. But if they're from Texas, they don't say they're from the United States. I'm from Texas.
That is so true. I hadn't thought of that.
I'm from Texas.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It overrides.
Texas overrides. Yeah. My parents at 24 versus me at 24. Yeah, that's absolutely true. Parents are married, and this kid's playing Fortnite. Me driving in silence after I almost just got in a car wreck that would have been my fault. I can't tell you how many times I've avoided a car accident or something really stupid, dangerous, and I'm sitting there like this, completely following the rules. Me posting stuff for attention. I kept this one up here because this Valerie Pettis, she's a friend on Facebook, but Valerie posts the wicked best memes of all time. All time. She puts them on her story. I can't believe it. Her memes are fantastic. They're totally amazing. 4 things my girl's not allowed to touch. Boys, this is for you out there. My wife never touches the gas pump. She doesn't open her own car door if I can help it. And by golly, that bill will not get, no. These are basic man rules right here. I don't know. That's my wife. I teach my boys that one, but I thought I'd put that one up there, just a friendly reminder. Oh, and the one on the right's the door. You always open the door. Don't forget these basic rules. All right, basic rules, man rules right here, whatever you want to call them. I'm not trying to be sexist. I'm just saying I think these rules matter.
You're not trying to be sexist, but you are.
I actually absolutely think these are great things to remember. Like my wife will never touch the gas. But my wife does have a knack, though, for always running out of gas right when I get into the car. So then I have to pump the gas. And I don't know why. I don't know. She's a pro at that. She's a pro. Here's the $600 stimulus check.
Wow.
Here's another one. Best we can do is $600. That is a complete and total ripoff of Pawn Stars. Yep, here you go. For the next stimulus check, you need to sell a certain amount of these chocolates to get it. It's kind of tiny. I'm sorry, folks, but that's true right there. Man, world's finest chocolate used to rock. I absolutely love it. Leaked image of the next stimulus check. I love these stimulus check memes. And this is my favorite one. I don't know why. Y'all probably didn't know this, but this tiny little pocket on your jeans is for your second stimulus. And finally, Snake Farm. Dude, this is a Texas legendary, New Braunfels legendary. Hi, I'm Jake from Snake Farm. I know, these are dumb. Mine are I just try to be, And then I want to remind you, is this still funny? Dangerous. I'm anxious to see.
Bro, his inauguration. How many people are going to go?
I'm anxious to see how we treat Joe Biden, how mainstream media, we already know the answer, how mainstream media, look, Kathy Griffin did that to the president's head, right? And what happens if somebody does that to Joe Biden? I'm willing to bet it's total anarchy and cancel culture. Kathy Griffin got away with it. Everybody thought it was funny and hilarious. One of the things I can't wait to see the next 4 years is the treatment of Joe Biden by the media. We already know what's going to happen, but that hypocrisy is going to be huge. It's going to be absolutely awesomely hypocritical when they roll out the carpet of roses for Joe Biden after the treatment of Donald Trump. Not that the president didn't bring some of that on himself. I get it. He picked the fight. He went at him. But, man, we're going to see a complete shift of the mainstream media to their love for the democratic principles. Man, does the USA look better in this picture or what? California's gone, folks, right there. Cali, gone. Speed limit 30, your speed, high score 78.
We're competing.
Oh, my God. Nashville bomber died from COVID-19. Saulo. That's actually a true story. Hey, by the way, I didn't get a chance to put up there real quick that. Put that one up there real quick. I wanted to show this one. As we're waning minutes of the show here, we're hanging on to our memes for dear life. Put that one back up there real quick. Those are the super cops right there. These are the brave officers who that day turned around and evacuated people all around that minivan or RV in Nashville. Unbelievable courage. We beat up and trash our police officers a lot nowadays, and these 6 men and women went out there and saved a ton of lives, evacuated the area, no regard for themselves, knocked it out, got them out of there. It's just an amazing story of the brave and courageous officers on that day in Nashville. So thank you for that. But good one to bring up. Got a couple more. The Nashville bomber actually wanted to detonate in Los Angeles and New York, but was concerned nobody would notice the damage. Is that really her? Mini AOC.
Yeah. They banned her, right? Because they were threatening her.
Oh, my gosh. Come on, people. Biden thoughts. I'm proud of Hunter. He has just donated his stimulus check to a low-income family, the Cocaines. What's up with this Biden thought? Is this an actual page?
It's Twitter. Yes, Twitter. It's Twitter.
Hunter said he's enjoying the snowballs. It's weird because I don't think it's snowing where he is. Saulo, man. I try to do a meme or two that's...
Bro, he's going to give us a lot of comedy.
Biden
is going to give us a lot of comedy.
You shame my memes, like my memes, and then you come over the top, and my memes always look so lame. All right. Saulo, love you.
It's awesome, bro. It's amazing.
We look forward to seeing you. We will be back. Better, ramped up, new logos, new opportunity, new focus, new everything. We thank you. We appreciate you. We're going to sign off for 2020, wishing you the best 2021. Hey, let's get it behind us, man. We're blessed no matter what. 2020 was a blessed year. We've seen it to the end. We're alive. Thank you. Those that are sick, those that COVID-19, those that have passed, our family, our friends, we just keep praying for them. We work hard, and we do the best we can as our community to honor the people, and we work hard to get that vaccine out there. Let's take care of our country. Let's go into 2021, get back to work, and try to get us back to normal as some semblance of normal. We pray for all that 2021. Be safe on New Year's Eve. Have a good one. We love you. The broadcast appreciates you. We will see you in a couple of weeks where we will get after changing our city. It's official. The broadcast is out.